Let me ask you a strange question. Have you ever noticed that the more you chase a woman, the more she seems to run? The more you try to prove your worth, the less she values it? You give more. You text more. You show how much you care. And somehow, she pulls away. It feels confusing, doesn't it? You're doing everything the world tells you to do. Be nice. Show her she's special. Never let her forget how much you care. And yet somehow, you're still not the one she craves. But what if I told you the reason she's not craving you is because you're doing too much? You're too there, too available, too giving. And here's the truth that no one tells men. What is always available is rarely valued. This isn't about playing games. This is about understanding human nature. You don't need tricks or manipulation. You need mastery. And the kind of mastery we're talking about today is Stoic Mastery. The power of detachment, the strength of calm, the silent force that makes people wonder who you are and why they want more of you. We're going to flip everything you've been taught. Because if you want to be the kind of man who women crave, not just like, you need to understand the dark psychology of attraction. The truth that nobody taught us when we were young. Chasing creates resistance. Detachment creates desire. Not because you're manipulating her, but because you're finally putting your energy back where it belongs. On you. Let's get deep. Let's break the rules. Let's learn how detachment, absence, purpose, and calm can make you one of the rarest, most attractive men she's ever met. Why chasing and proving yourself doesn't work. Let's break down why most men fail in love, even when they're trying their best. You see, most guys have been taught that to get a woman to like you, you have to chase her. You have to show her how great you are. Buy her things. Compliment her. Be available 24/7. You've got to prove yourself. But here's the problem. When you try to prove yourself, you're already saying you're not enough. You're saying, please choose me. I hope I'm good enough. And that energy, that mindset, it doesn't create desire. It creates pressure. It makes you seem needy. It makes you seem like you need her more than you need yourself. And that's the fastest way to kill attraction. Think about this. When something is always trying to convince you how amazing it is, don't you question it a little? When someone pushes too hard, your instinct is to pull back. That's human nature, and attraction follows that exact pattern. So when you text her every hour, when you rearrange your life for her, when you make her your main mission, you're putting her on a pedestal, and you're putting yourself in a lower position. Now here's the twist. Women don't want to be your whole world. They want to be invited into a world that already has meaning. They don't want to be your purpose. They want to be part of a man who already has one. If your entire emotional state depends on how much attention she gives you, then you're not leading, you're reacting. And here's the truth you must remember. The man who reacts loses. The man who leads attracts. You don't lead by force. You lead by presence, by purpose, by calm, by building a life that is so full, so focused, so powerful, that she wants to be near it. That's why proving yourself never works, because proving is about her approval, and attraction comes from self-approval. It's not about being cold. It's about being solid, firm, focused, not easy to sway, not desperate for validation, rooted in your own mission, not someone else's emotions. This is where real attraction begins, not from chasing, but from becoming. And when you understand this, when you live this, you stop running after women, and they start noticing you from across the room, wondering why they want to be near your energy. That's the shift. That's where the craving begins. How creating space makes her want you more. Now that you understand why chasing and proving doesn't work, let's go deeper into something even more powerful: creating space. This is where things get really interesting. See, when you're constantly around someone, they get used to your presence. You become normal, expected, predictable. And here's the dark truth. People stop valuing what they see all the time. It's not because they're bad. It's just how the human mind works. Imagine your favorite song. Now imagine playing that song 10 times every single day. After a while, you stop feeling the magic. It just becomes background noise. This is what happens when you're always available, always texting, always showing up. You're no longer exciting. You're no longer a mystery. You're just there. But when you create space, everything changes. Now let's be very clear. This is not about playing games. This is not about ignoring someone to make them chase you. This is about living your life, having real purpose, doing real things, following your own path so strongly that there are natural moments of absence. This absence is powerful, because when you're gone for a bit, it gives her time to think, to wonder, to miss you. And when someone starts to miss you, that's when they start craving you. Not because you made them feel insecure, but because your presence had value, and your absence reminded them of it. That's the principle of space and pull. Just like the moon controls the tide, your presence should have gravity, and your absence should create a pull. So how do you do this? You stop being a man who waits around. You become a man who's in motion. Instead of checking your phone every 3 minutes, you're focused on your craft. You're working out, you're building, you're reading. You're creating a life that's fulfilling, with or without her attention. And guess what? That kind of energy is rare. That kind of energy is magnetic. That kind of energy makes people lean in. They start to wonder, what is he doing? Why isn't he texting all the time? Why does he seem so calm and centered? And this curiosity builds attraction, not because you played a trick, but because you're actually becoming more valuable. Remember this. Value isn't about what you say. It's about how you live. When your life is full and real, your time becomes valuable, and your space becomes a gift. And any woman who gets to be in that space, even for a little while, feels it, and she wants more of it. She wants to join your life, not be your life. Here's something you have to understand if you want to master the art of long-term attraction. A woman doesn't want to be your whole life. She wants to be part of a life that's already full. Let that sink in. Most guys make this mistake without even knowing it. They meet a woman they really like, and suddenly they drop everything. They stop going to the gym. They stop hanging out with friends. They stop chasing their goals. Their whole world shrinks down to one thing: her. They think, if I just show her how much I care, she'll stay. If I make her the center of my world, she'll never leave. But the truth? That kind of devotion doesn't make her feel safe. It makes her feel pressure. Because when your life has nothing else going on, you lean on her too much. You become needy. You lose your spark. And here's the part that hurts. When a man loses himself, a woman loses interest. Now let's flip that around. Imagine you're a man who's on his path. You wake up with goals. You have things to do. You've got friends, hobbies, passions, routines. You have a vision. You have direction. You have a mission. And then she shows up. Now, instead of being the center of your world, she's a beautiful part of it. She gets to join something powerful. She gets to be part of a man's journey, not the reason for it. And guess what? That's the kind of man women crave. Because deep down, most women don't want a man who depends on them for purpose. They want a man who's already whole, already strong, already moving. And when she steps into that man's life, she feels excited. She feels inspired. She feels lucky. Because she's not dragging him forward. She's trying to keep up. Here's a simple truth. Love doesn't grow from need. It grows from overflow. When you live in overflow, meaning your cup is already full, you bring energy, not desperation. You bring strength, not weakness. You bring purpose, not pressure. And that energy is magnetic. It doesn't say, please pick me. It says, I'm already winning. You can join me if you want. That's how you become rare. That's how you become valuable. That's how you become the man who doesn't need love, but attracts it anyway. So stop trying to make someone your whole world. Build a world that's so rich, so interesting, and so full that anyone who enters it feels blessed just to be there.